Hello there and welcome to day 4 of making the mundane magical. Yay! I have to say it's quite a task deciding to create something like this off the cuff and allowing yourself to be guided by your higher self. And who else? And it's a perfect lead in to the question today, which is, who am I co-creating with and how can I do so consciously? And I hope you're bearing with me and that me breaking this all down into bite-sized chunks is supporting you to get a better understanding of some of these woo-woo terms. I haven't gone near soul yet, and I'm not going near that today. I'm going to explain that tomorrow. Tomorrow, actually, the question is about being a multidimensional being, what it means to be a multidimensional being of love and light. And we're going to tackle, or not tackle, but explore again this idea of timelines and a personal paradise or an optimal temporal reality, personal paradise, divine design. That's the one I'm loving at the moment. So I just wanted to gather you a little bit. Actually, I'm a bit late on today because I was trying to write out a little bit to give you a little more. Hello. Whoever's on, please do let me know you're on so I can see that you're on. But today's one, I've drawn you a little picture and then I'll go into it. And you know, just the picture is worth a like and share. I mean, surely, like, I'm really not an artist. That's not in my power, really. Now, hopefully I've given you enough there. You can see I've drawn a huge body of light to represent source. And then a little funnel leading through to the sun. Well, it's not a little funnel, it's a big funnel leading through to our sun. But that would go through our universe, our galaxy, our solar system into our sun. And then there's another little tube that connects to the crown of the head and actually through to the heart, all the way down through the pelvic floor into the earth. And there's another sphere there called the earth chakra. And then, you know, the earth is only half represented there. You can see this semicircle. And really, the earth is huge, isn't it? Gaia's huge. The centre of the earth would be Gaia's heart, which I've represented with a little heart there. And I'll take a snapshot of this and I will post it. But basically, the torus that I was talking about yesterday, so you see this big donut-like shape, a bit like butterfly wings coming out. This is this energetic blueprint, if you like, of how our energy moves out. And on this earth at the moment, I believe instruments have been able to measure up to 70 feet worth of emanation, so energy frequency. So the only reason we don't know how much further it extends, our energy field, is because we don't have the instruments to measure them. But I've kind of gone upwards as well to sort of show you that as we connect to our God self, which is what we're going to talk about today, we can send our energy all the way up and out through to source, back down, and then all the way back up again. Which, if you think about it, source of all that is God. Who is God? Who am I today? I don't know. I'm a multidimensional being of love and light, baby. Changes every day. More on that tomorrow. But source is everywhere. Source is not somewhere up there or somewhere down there. Source is everywhere, and actually we are source. So who am I co-creating with? Well, you're co-creating with whoever you're focused on co-creating with. If you are stuck in a traumatic event in the past and you haven't healed it, then you are basically going to be co-creating with the part of you that is stuck in that trauma, because that bit of you is not in flow. And in order for you to be in flow, you need to deal with that bit of you. But if you're not dealing with it, you stay stuck in it, if that makes sense. And actually, I want to do a little plug there for my dear friend Christina Joy, who has given me some amazing healing sessions. So any of you who are really stuck in a trauma, she is giving away a free healing session, therapy session, to work through trauma. She works with your higher self, with the collective higher self, and she's amazing. So anyone who wants to know more about that, I'll be posting that today. I digress. So higher self, who we're co-creating with. If we're in trauma, we are co-creating with bits of us who are in trauma. If your mind is in the past all the time, you are co-creating with aspects of you in the past. If your mind is in the future all the time, you are not in the present, which is where your co-creating power exists. So, a few terms. God, I would claim to be the source of all that is, the original source of all that is. I would also call God the original spark of creation. God is known as good orderly direction, so the highest frequencies of love and light, source of all that is, right? Who am I? Well, I am many things. I'm a multidimensional being of love and light, but I am a divine being having a human experience. So I am a being of energy. This here is a being of energy housed in a biological form, right? So this human form. Our God self, well, let's go to our ego. So the ego is your programmed self. It's the you that has been programmed from your time of conception all the way through to the first 7 years of life, which is when our brain waves change frequency and we stop just being sponges for information. We start to engage our own processes and make our own decisions based on our own analysis of what's going on, rather than what we've been taught to believe about the world. But we're still impressionable our whole lives, you know, that's the bottom line. We all want to be accepted and loved, and that is both our strength and also our greatest vulnerability. So the programmed self is wired for survival, and the way that I would explain the ego is the autopilot. Okay, so your autopilot is what's in charge unless you're engaging your conscious mind. But the moment that you are engaged in more than one task, so you know, at the moment I'm talking and I'm trying to remember something. If I was actually cooking at the same time, then my subconscious would need to kick in, and with that my ego self, which is my autopilot, would be kicking in. So I wouldn't be as conscious and aware of what I'm saying and what I'm doing. I could more easily slip up. We move beyond this, and now we start to look at terms like our inner presence, our God self, and our higher self. So I'm going to read a couple of bits out to you, because these are the conclusions I've come to. And of course there are many theories, many different explanations. This is the understanding I have come to through the work that I've been doing over the last 16 years, both esoteric and also quite practical in terms of yoga and yoga philosophy. In the end, what I'm working with now are the frequencies that are beyond the astral plane, so the fifth dimension, which I'll talk about tomorrow, and beyond, which there's not a lot written about. We are activating and downloading information all of the time, but hopefully this will trigger some of your own awareness and deep inner knowing, and it will help you. So, who is God? Well, we could say that God is your oversoul. I'll go into that tomorrow. Maybe we have a God for this universe. Maybe there's a collective God, and there are creator gods for each universe. But we have this image of, which has come through in all our religions, of this father figure or grandfather figure, and us as innocent children sort of sitting in the lap of God, and sort of, well, on the one hand you could say giving our power away, but on the other hand we can co-create with God. So this is coming back to this question, who are we co-creating with? Well, part of who we are co-creating with is our God self. So to know your God self, you have to understand this concept of God to some degree. So this is the purest frequency of love and light, which exists within each of us as a little spark of divine creation. It's always there, but it doesn't mean that it's been activated. So many human beings, I think I heard the term sheeple yesterday, and I referred to sheep a couple of days ago, I didn't mean that. Is the kind of going with the crowd, going with what's most popular, sort of just keeping your head down, getting on with what is. Often we can just be existing without really having a consciousness around our existence, because we're just filling our mind all of the time with noise, music, chat shows, television, radio, newspaper. You know, we're constantly filling our minds, and an aspect of our being is our mental self, just like an aspect of our being is our heart self, our God self. And the God self does reside in the heart center for lots of reasons, okay? So if you can imagine the droplets of an ocean being source, being God, and each of us being individual droplets, we are part of that collective that is God, that is source, but we are also individual expressions of that. So we all have our own little individual expression of this divineness that we can tap into. And my teacher Susanna was sharing a story, and she'd heard this from two different teachers sharing how they co-create their reality, because this is part of how do you consciously co-create. And this is about being able to step into a conversation with God in the sense that you can take on the idea of a father figure, a protective father figure, this masculine energy that is meant to be protective and hold a boundary to help us to feel safe, and us at whatever age being able to sit in that lap and basically being asked, what do you want to create? I'm listening. What do you want to bring into your life experience? And this is God talking, and us as the innocent child saying, well, I want to have the experience of having a fantastic relationship, or knowing what it's like to feel financially free, or having vibrant health, or family dynamics that are really nourishing and helpful, or success. I want to know what success means. Whatever you have a thirst to know, it's like going to this creator aspect of you and stating what you want, knowing that you are being heard, and by asking for what you want and stating for what you want, you are asking the part of you that can help you to create it, and what you are doing is you're trusting this highest frequency version of you, your God self, your inner presence, to know more about what you want as your limited sort of conscious human self, and to understand the essence of what you want rather than the specifics that you've attached to it. It's got to be this person, it's got to be at this time, it's got to be this much money, it's got to be this colour. Well, that's us just trying to control things, and that's us playing God. We don't need to. We are God. So we accept our God self and we co-create with that aspect of us. Or we can co-create with our ego, we can co-create with our traumatized self. We can co-create with an aspect of us in the future, which goes into the multidimensional thing I'll talk about tomorrow. But I wanted to sort of use the term Holy Spirit as well and go into that, because we talk about spirit, the great spirit, spirit of all that is, the Holy Spirit. Now, Kundalini energy, that Kundalini arising, awakening, has been likened to the Holy Spirit. And, if you've ever been to a church where people talk in tongues, I know I've been to lots of different Christian churches in my time, different sects of Christianity. And, when we're possessed to talk in tongues and, we're feeling the Holy Spirit, it's like a Kundalini awakening experience, basically. It looks exactly the same. And so, light language is light language, talking in tongues. Like there are so many interesting parallels to explore. But ultimately, my understanding of the Holy Spirit is it's the vehicle, the communication channel between our earthly human self and the consciousness that we're currently in, and our God self, which is our direct connection to source. So I'm going up, but I could just be saying source is like this. I still have this idea that as I evolve, my consciousness, my frequency becomes higher and higher and higher. So I see God as that highest frequency of love, right? So my God consciousness is, I've put here about the oversoul. So a little bit on the oversoul. My oversoul is the ascended version of me who oversees all the lessons the fractions of me undertake in order to know themselves and unify once more. So the idea of soul groups, soulmates, oversouls. There is some talk around the idea that God is the oversoul, is kind of the unified soul of all of these individual souls having their individual experience, but being of the same vibration, being of the same monad. And if I'm losing you, don't worry. Like, trying to get your logical brain around this is tough. I'm doing my best to give you something to anchor with and play with, okay? So who is my higher self? I explained this yesterday. A more humanized form of my God self, or my oversoul, or, source of all that is. Or the me that is in the future, who's already achieved or learned or created what it is I want to create. So a vehicle for time, dimensional and frequency travel, which is like timeline jumping. Your higher self can help you do that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And the Taurus, so this energy frequency, this energy field that is emanating from our heart, is the God self emanating from within. Hence, everything is inside of you that you are looking outside of you for. Everything. I mean, I know I've said this before and I've been so frustrated with it. I remember hearing it from the age of 13 or 14. Everything you want is inside of you. Really? Where is it then? And actually it is, because it's inside of you as a frequency, and it's a frequency that you need to connect with. You use your senses, you use your imagination, you get into the feeling state of what it would be like, what it would feel like to have what you want. And by getting into that feeling state, so using your imagination, think about how the imagination got stamped out of most of us as children. Oh, don't be silly, you're daydreaming, come back to the real world, that's not going to feed you and put food on the table, all those not allowed to daydream, not allowed to consider different versions of myself and see who I want to be, right? This is a story for most of us. So basically, being able to access this frequency comes through your imagination, and it comes through dropping out of your head and the brain and the computer and the programmed monkey mind, also known as the ego, or the subconscious programming, and dropping into your heart where you're just feeling what is there right now, what is here. And all there is space. All there is creative energy looking for direction. Shakti is creative energy, pure unmanifest potential. Shiva is direction without energy. So you need the two. So when we go back to this idea of God as, this masculine form, or this sacred masculine form, holding form, in this sense, Shiva represents a boundary for the energy, but God is obviously both Shiva and Shakti united. So us as the divine child, as the innocent child, are there with this excitement, this desire, this passion to create something. And so this is mirrored in our Creator, and this is how we co-create. I hope that's making some sense for you. Please do comment if it isn't. I'm just seeing here what else I've got. So for me, the Holy Spirit is this channel. Source. Holy Spirit is the communication channel between the source of all that is, your human self, and also the way that you can drop into your divine self, your inner presence, different words for the same thing, your inner God presence, or inner, your God self, which resides in your heart center. This is also where you emanate your own energy field from. It's where you send love out from, where you radiate out what you want to attract. So that's how you co-create. It's by radiating out what you want to attract in. This is how you become a magnet for what you want. You've got to be that frequency first. And how to access it is through your imagination. It's acting as if. This has seemed so difficult for people to grasp as a co-creation tool. And yet that's what you do, but the adult self says, don't be silly. That can't be it. And actually the magical self says, duh, what is it that witches do? What is it that wizards do? Why do we do ceremony? Why do we create all of this fanfare? It's to get us into an altered state of consciousness to co-create from. Well, you can do that today, right now. Amazing, huh? Don't need a priest. Don't need to go and sell your soul. It's in you. All right, and then the spark of divine light, God self, inner presence, is your heart spark. Your earth chakra, which is about 3 foot deep in the earth, is how you start to anchor your visions and to take them from an idea and to manifest them. So, who am I co-creating with, and how do I co-create consciously? You are co-creating with your God self, which is the you that is basically a spark of divine light. This God self is not any of the conditioned beliefs you have about God, because those are things we've been taught to believe about God. God is just love. God is energy. God is creative energy waiting to be directed. But it also has a consciousness of its own, divine mind, which will autocorrect or auto-tune, or how else could I describe it? Find the best route that might not be the route that you have in mind, but the best way for you to learn the lessons that you have come here to learn through the experiences you seek to have. Remember that when you come to Earth to incarnate, the idea here, and there's a wonderful book called Journey of Souls, which really helps to put this in context, is that you set your agenda, you set your lessons, you set your curriculum. You do, no one else. You might do it with your guidance, you might do it with guides in spirit, you might do it, with a high frequency of you, but ultimately it's you that chooses what you're here to learn. And you do that to evolve your soul back into oneness. It's amazing, hence the game of life and how to play it. Hence my membership program that is coming out in January. Stay tuned, this is what this is all about. Okay, so where else do we go with this? So how can I co-create consciously? Step 1, is choose to co-create from your inner presence, your God self. Your higher self, remember, is a vehicle of sorts to time travel, to dimension travel, and to be able to access wisdom from versions of you that are already where you want to be. And there are different higher selves according to different timelines. We'll go there tomorrow. But essentially, taking the time, as we did, bring your hands together, or you can place them over your heart. Allowing yourself to breathe down from your brain. So check in with your brain, notice the noise, allow it to be there, but allow yourself to drop into your heart space. And in this heart space, ask yourself the question, what is here? What is here now? On the inhale, accept it. On the exhale, release it. And remember, we worked with I am that I am. If you are feeling in a good space, then amplify it. Amplify it by saying, I am that, as you breathe out, and then as you breathe in, I am. And if we go back into our little statements that get us into our co-creative self, into our God self, into our I am presence, which is how you co-create with Source, then you would state, I am all that is, I am all that is, I am all that is. I am aligning with Earth's ascension timeline. I am unity consciousness. I am source consciousness. I am the source of my creations and the creator of my reality. I am aligning with my divine design timeline. I am embodying the wisdom of my higher self from my divine design timeline. I am co-creating with my inner presence, my God self, from my divine design timeline. I am that I am. And just take a few deep breaths. So you state what you want to do, you claim it, and then you step into it. And so as you claim that and you take a few more breaths and you allow yourself to sit in your heart, you can imagine that you are sitting in the lap of the Holy Father, or you can imagine a mother figure, whatever works for you. Remembering this is an aspect of yourself that you are accessing, so make it something you want. And then as an innocent child, just being able to say, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want... Just state what you want. State what you want to create today. State what you want to create this week. State what you want to create in this particular relationship or this particular meeting or in this particular event or this particular workplace. It's up to you. You can co-create everywhere you want. What do you want to co-create for planet Earth? Now imagine it. Imagine it. Feel it in your body. Totally feel that that is what you have created. And as you feel it, once you're feeling it, expand it into your whole energy field. Just imagine this big sphere that surrounds you, that torus of energy that's emanating out. Wish it for everybody. Wish it for everyone to have what they want, to have the feeling of being looked after, being safe, being cared for, all of their needs being met. You know, this is what we're talking about in terms of living magically and being co-creators of our reality, is being able to co-create a life we want to live. And as you feel all of that and you get into the feeling state where your vibration lifts, this is where you say, you anchor it by saying, I am that I am, I am that I am, I am that I am. And then go about your day, because anything that you see, Lavender's here, anything that you see that is something you want, so say you want a baby and you start seeing babies everywhere, you have the choice to think, oh my God, everyone else has got a baby but me. Or you can see, oh wow, my manifestations are working. I'm seeing more and more babies everywhere. What you focus on grows. So you keep saying, yes, thank you, I want that. Yes, thank you for bringing it to me. Yes, thank you, me too, please. And it's evidence of the fact that it's already coming, that it's already there. Whatever that is, that's one example. And so you claim it. You breathe out to it, I am that, and you breathe in, I am. Breathe out to it, I am that. Breathe into I am. You really want a relationship where you're deeply in love and you see everyone smooching everywhere? Again, why everyone else has got it, I haven't got it. That's lack consciousness. That's you asserting the fact that you haven't got something you want. Start to bless them. Give thanks for them. The fact that you're seeing this everywhere. And again, breathe out, I am that. Breathe in, I am. Whatever it is you want it for, it's there. And so we keep raising our frequency to meet it. And what will also come up is any resistance you have to it. Now, working with resistance, clearing resistance is bigger than this video series. It's not what this series is about. But just stating what you want is the start of co-creating your reality. I will be offering a week of breakthrough calls in a couple of weeks for those of you who want to do some proper clearing and want to find out more about how you can do it so that you can deal with the resistance that's coming up in your life. In the meantime, you can take up Christina Joy's offer. So, yes, so we get to there. And then you just get about your day. And this is the thing, is living life by intention. Living life by setting your intention in the morning, as we've talked about in the previous videos. Checking in with yourself regularly. Where am I co-creating from? Have I gone into fear? Stepping back into love. Dropping out of the monkey mind. Coming back here. In the end, we're not controlling the outside world. We have no control over the outside world. That's one truth. But another truth is this. As you change your vibration, as you shift you and your perception of life, the world around you changes. Not only that, but your vibration changes the world around you. It shifts what's around you. Things that are not in alignment with what you are can't be around you. They are affected. They either step away or they're transformed. That's how powerful you are, and that's what living magically means. So, I think I'm going to leave that one there. It's been a bit of a long one, but I've hopefully answered your question. With this one, the co-creating of your, who you're co-creating with is really whoever you focus on co-creating with. Remember your higher self is a vehicle. Remember that the Holy Spirit or Kundalini is a channel, another vehicle. It's a channel really rather than a vehicle. Your higher self is a vehicle. We all have this channel open to us, the spirit in all of us, the spirit in everything. It's there. And equally, that is what links us to our inner presence, our God self. And God is inside of us, not outside of us. But as God is omnipresent, God is both inside and outside of us. And if you want to access God's power, you need to go inside of you. So pray inside of you. Access inside of you. Like a microchip that has everything you could possibly want to experience, you're activating the bits you want to. Let's finish with the Anusara invocation. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. So I bow to the light within me that takes on the form of truth, consciousness and bliss, is always present, never absent, and shines with its own divine luster. That's you, baby. That's me, baby. That's all of us. We are that divine spark. Listen to it. Anusara Invocation. Find it on YouTube. Sending you loads of love. Have a magical day. Let me know how you're getting on. Prizes. Okay, so yesterday, my dad, Yorgos Kaliabetsos, wins a prize because he made a comment. And also, we've got Veronica winning a prize today because she made a comment. So please comment to be in with winning a prize. We will contact you and let you know what you have won. And Alison, if you're watching this, please contact me. Give me a personal message so I can get in touch with you. For now, send you loads of love. Take care. Namaste.